We're here.
We are here. We made it.
We made it. We're here.
To Tuesday.
We've got a lot of nice new stuff.
We do. We do.
It's pretty exciting.
I feel like I have a lot of stuff, so I guess I'm going to try to go through them quickly because this is.
I'm like looking at your pile going, how did you even carry that? That's crazy.
Muscles. I got
It's
muscles.
a big pile.
Yeah.
It's a big pile.
So I'll start with two quick ones. For fans of the Megan Miranda thrillers, she has a new one. It's called Such a Quiet Place. Brandy new. Comes out today. We got multiple copies of this because these go like hotcakes. Daniel Silva's newest, The Cellist. We have 2 copies and a large print copy.
Exciting. Very nice.
So that's here for everyone so that they can... That's one of those... Anytime he comes out with a book, it's like 300 holds. They're like wild. So I tried to get ahead of it.
All right.
This one has been getting a lot of buzz. It was by the author of The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, which I read, which was good. And then the end, it was really good. A lot of book clubs were reading it, and it was really interesting. It was like a vampire mystery, and you're like, is that person actually a vampire? And I don't want to spoil it.
Alert. Okay.
Well, it's literally the name of the book.
Oh, okay.
The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. It's about a book club, and it's about slaying vampires, but not like in the Buffy way, in like a more mysterious way. A more like the ladies of the book club were totally being gaslit about like a vampire or a predator in the town.
Okay.
And then at the end, all of a sudden it got really gory, and I went, "Oh, why am I reading this?" only like 10 pages in there were, maybe not 10, like 5 pages were super gory, and I went, "Oh no!"
Yeah, not for you.
It was good though.
Okay.
So this author, Grady Hendrix, now has the Final Girl support group that has been on a lot of buzz lists. A lot of buzz lists.
What's
so
it about?
There's blood right on the cover.
Looks gory.
A fast-paced, thrilling horror novel that follows a group of heroines to die for.
Oh boy.
So someone's gonna die.
Yeah.
In horror movies, the final girl is the one who's left standing when the credits roll. The one who fought back, defeated the killer, and avenged her friends. The one who emerges bloodied but victorious. But after the sirens fade and the audience moves on, what happens to her? Lynette is a real-life final girl who survived a massacre 22 years ago.
Yikes.
I know. And it has defined every day of her life since. And she's not alone. For more than a decade, she's been meeting with 5 other actual final girls and their therapist in a support group for those who have survived the unthinkable, putting their lives back together piece by piece. That is until one of the women misses a meeting and Lynette's worst fears are realized. Someone knows about the group and is determined to take their lives apart again.
Oh gosh, this sounds like a horror
piece
movie.
by piece. Well, it is.
About horror movies.
It is a horror book. But the thing about these final girls is that they have each other now, and no matter how bad the odds, how dark the night, how sharp the knife, they will never, ever give up. So I guess it's like, who's going to be the final girl in the final girl group? I don't know, but it seems really intense. Horror is starting to rise. I know it was a trend with it was a trend with teens because teens interviewed literally said, "I like to read about horrifying things that are not real life." And it was actually in all of these surveys about, what are kids reading in 2020 during the pandemic? They're reading about things that are horrific because they would like to not think about the horrors of 2020.
Minimize their own horrors. Oh boy.
This one, let's totally change gears.
Please, I'm scared.
This is called The Rehearsals by Annette Christie. If they want to get to forever, they'll have to make it to tomorrow first. I believe this is like a rom-com Groundhog Day type of thing.
Oh boy.
2 people, 1 wedding, no end in sight. Megan and Tom are heading into what is supposed to be their magical wedding weekend on beautiful San Juan Island. Inseparable since college, each has long dreamed of this day and of bringing their very different worlds together at last. But, of course, there's always a but, with 2 difficult families, 12 years of history, and all too many painful secrets, they find that things quickly go wrong. Oh, I have to sneeze.
Oh, that's okay.
Am I going to sneeze? No,
Yikes.
it's gone.
The suspense.
It's just, this weather is like really
it's
messing with my sinuses. It's like, do I have to
terrible.
sneeze? Do I have a runny nose? What is happening? Thanks, humidity.
Yeah, it's terrible.
After a disastrous rehearsal dinner, Megan and Tom vowed to call the whole thing off. Only to wake up the next morning stuck in a time loop. together. Are they really destined to relive the worst day of their lives over and over? And what happens if their wedding day does arrive? Funny, romantic, big-hearted debut novel. So
Well, that
this
sounds
couple has to try to
fun.
get it
A little
right at their
lighter.
rehearsal dinner.
A little lighter.
A little lighter.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you in the mood for?
Horror or a little light romantic comedy.
Very, very different. Let's go back to horror.
Oh boy, got a lot of it. This cover's creepy.
This, I actually
Title,
am
oh my
pretty
God.
excited about this one. It's called The Icepick Surgeon: Murder, Fraud, Sabotage, Piracy, and Other Dastardly Deeds Perpetrated in the Name of Science.
Oh my god, is that nonfiction?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that sounds awesome.
I actually saw it in a section in, our book review journals where we order our books from and how we decide what we're going to add to the library. It was like a whole section of, for the true crime aficionado, but like mostly historical stuff.
That sounds amazing.
I
and
know,
I know
it
what
sounds
the
really
Icepick was
interesting.
for, unfortunately. I've seen too many horror movies myself.
Oh my gosh. The Untold History of Science's Darkest Secrets. Science is a force for good in the world, at least usually, but sometimes when obsession gets the better of scientists, they twist a noble pursuit into something sinister. Under this spell, knowledge isn't everything, it's the only thing, no matter the cost. Best-selling author Sam Keane tells the story of what happens when unfettered ambition pushes otherwise rational men and women to cross the line in the name of science, trampling ethical boundaries and often committing crimes in the process. The Icepick Surgeon masterfully guides the reader across 2,000 years of history, beginning with Cleopatra's dark deeds in ancient Egypt. The book reveals the origin of much of modern science in the transatlantic slave trade of the early 1700s, as well as Thomas Edison's mercenary support of the electric chair.
Oh my gosh.
And the warped logic of the spies who infiltrated the Manhattan Project. But the sins of science aren't all safely buried in the past. Many of them, the author reminds us, still affect us today. We can draw direct lines from medical abuses of the Tuskegee and Nazi Germany to current vaccine hesitancy, and connect ice-pick lobotomies from the 1950s to contemporary failings of mental health care.
Interesting.
Unflinching and exhilarating to the last page, the Icepick Surgeon fuses the drama of scientific discovery with the illicit thrill of a true crime tale.
Yikes.
It sounds so interesting.
And if you are, I love this kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
one of my favorite shows is called The Knick, Knick. And it's all about like doctors in the early 20th century in New York City. And they come up with some pretty wacky cures, but sometimes they work. Baking somebody who's got a case of, I think it was syphilis or something horrible. And they put her in like an oven and it destroyed it destroyed the, right. Or a poor woman who is kind of losing her mind and they pull her teeth. Horrible. If you like that, you will love this book. This sounds right up my alley,
If
actually.
you like horrific medical experiments,
Yep. It sounds
why not
right
try
up my
the
alley.
Icepick Surgeon?
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? For some reason, I feel like reading it will actually would be more horrific for me than watching it.
Wild, yeah.
Because I can always turn away when I don't want to watch it.
Okay.
Sounds good. Sounds really good.
The last adult book that we have is another nonfiction, I believe it's more like memoir. It's called Committed by Adam Stern, Dispatches from a Psychiatrist in Training. And it kind of reminds me of the book, Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb, just sort of like, therapists trying to figure out therapy and like the people that go to therapy and all this kind of stuff. Adam Stern was a medical student at a state school before being selected to train as a psychiatry resident at Harvard. Blah, 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 blah. In his memoir, Stern pulls back the curtain on the intense, sometimes humorous, often demoralizing lessons he and his fellow doctors absorbed while studying the human condition, revealing the value of human connection. His story shines a spotlight on several residents, their growth as doctors, their complicated relationship with their patients and each other, and the life choices each of them made as they survived and grew throughout the 4-year residency. Engrossing stories rich with drama and emotion, life on psychiatric wards, treating patients with challenging conditions. So it's just kind of all about that. So, whereas the other one, if you liked Maybe You Should Talk to Someone, this one's a little bit more about like the residency life and about the medical professionals themselves, versus that one was heavily on the anecdotal stories of the patients, where this one has a little bit of that, but more about how it affects their residency. Sounds really interesting. I'm actually going to put it on my list as well.
Oh.
So, 2 different medical.
I think I might try this one, the creepy one.
We're doing a lot of like opposites today.
Yeah, we're going for opposites. It's opposite day.
It's
at the
opposite
library.
day.
Oh my goodness.
I have 3 young adult novels. This one I love, Rainbow Rowell, but this is the 3rd book in a series. The first one was called Carry On. The second one was called Wayward Son, and this one is called Anyway the Wind Blows.
Carry
See?
my wayward son.
There's a little bit of a musical theme here. This is a hefty one, and I believe this is the last one. The 3rd one is the last one. So, and we have all of them. So,
And I don't know that it's really based on the glam rock of the 70s or arena rock. I'm not really sure.
it is an epic fantasy.
Okay.
The Simon Snow trilogy.
Nice. Oh, a fantasy too.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that'll explain the guy with the wings on the back. Okay, got it. I'm a little slow. I like it.
Jeez.
I like the title.
Anyway, The Wind Blows is an ending about endings, about catharsis, closure, and how we choose to move on from trauma and triumphs.
All right.
The next one I'm really excited about. All of these anthologies written by popular YA authors. There is another one that is called Up All Night. 13 stories that occur between sunset and sunrise. And I love the cover too.
Well, it is very beautiful.
Makeups and breakups, campouts and stakeouts, prom nights and ghost hunts. Anything might happen between sunset and sunrise.
I love the premise.
Yep,
Very
and see,
cool.
there are like a ton of different popular young adult authors who contributed to this, and short stories are a great way to do some summer reading. But if you don't feel like you can sit through a whole novel because you've got a lot going on this summer,
Yep.
a short story is a great way just to.
It's funny because I think I've said this
Get
before. I
through
don't love short stories, but whenever I actually do sit down and read them, I'm like, oh, that was actually really fun.
And they're growing in popularity
Yeah.
for young adults. The adults don't seem to. Short stories are very popular. They're not super popular here. Whenever I buy short stories for the adults, they don't tend to do well. But for the young adults, it just makes sense. Because
I've been
it's a
pushing them in
nice,
the kids
quick way to
department
read.
too,
Yeah.
because I love a lot of times they're arranged around a theme, which is
Yeah.
great. Like this one is what would happen if you stayed up all night. One of my favorites, I forget what it's called. I think it's called The Birthday Present or something. It's in the kids' room. It's the premise is you get an empty box for your birthday. Why? And then like all these children's authors come up with, some of them are very funny, some of them are really sad.
Oh.
So it's kind of neat. And that was just another one I gave out recently was stories about girls, all written by female authors, which I thought was really cool and empowering. So
Yeah.
a lot of good stuff.
Yeah,
out
these
there.
anthologies are on the rise.
Yeah.
And then here's another one. I actually missed it. I don't know if it's new this week or not. It's by Hannah Reynolds. It's called The Summer of Lost Letters.
That's very mature.
And it actually kind of caught my eye because it seems like we have a lot of stories right now that don't just celebrate like joy or typical summer. And while we need to read about activism and putting yourself out there and doing hard things, sometimes it's nice just to read a book about summer and relationships, and maybe things are dramatic, but it's not like life-threatening dramatic, and there's just a lot of
Take it down
stuff.
a little.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff
Yeah.
based on like current events that is kind of heavy, so I think this has been billed as just a nice summer read.
Which is fun. Reading can be fun.
Yes. 17-year-old Abby isn't looking forward to summer before her senior year. She just went through a breakup. Her friends are kind of not hanging with her anymore. Everyone's going in different directions. But suddenly, one rainy day at her doorstep, there's a box of her recently deceased grandmother's possessions, and they're letters. They're love letters to a man named Edward from a mansion on Nantucket. So she doesn't know about her grandmother's past. She knows that she fled the Holocaust at age 5 and lived in the U.S., so she heads to Nantucket to learn more about her grandmother and the secrets. But of course, there's a boy. She does meet Edward's mysterious, handsome grandson. And they try to just figure out the mysteries of her
That sounds like
grandmother and
fun
this man
and touching, I bet.
without going too deep. The grandson's like, don't dig up things you don't want to dig up. But she really wants to learn about her family's past and history, and they kind of learn about it through these letters and see what they can find.
Well, that's really neat.
Yeah, so it's a nice one. So it's not super heavy. So if we're looking for a nice summer read that also just
But
talks a lot about family history.
Yeah, I bet it has like some touching parts.
Yeah, there are definitely some touching things.
growth.
There's definitely some, when we're talking about the history of somebody who's been through the Holocaust and maybe her grandmother didn't really have any family. It's going to get heavy and emotional, but there have just been a lot of really heavy political things in the young adult room, and while they're important to read, sometimes you need something that's a little bit more of an escape. So I think that might be why this one's so popular.
I feel like the cover looks almost like a grown-up book.
It's very mature.
It has a very mature, sophisticated feel to it. So
Sophisticated.
yeah, very exciting.
All right, so we got some children's things.
Got some fun kids things. We have a new one by Gordon Corman. It's called Linked. Gordon Corman is very popular with the kids. And this one is going to be a timely one. It's about a kid that finds a swastika vandalizing in his school, and because he's the first one to find it, he gets blamed for it,
Yeah.
And so it's all about, there's more and more that keep appearing around the town. So it's kind of an important topic, and Gordon Corman, like I said, very popular with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that this would be one of those books that kids who are up on current events and stuff are going to want to read. And learn about how to deal with something like that in their
pretty
town.
close to what's happening in real life right now.
Exactly. So it's past, present, future, right, wrong. It's all connected. So it's going to be a closer and deeper look at how to deal with those kind of things, I think. And but in a fiction, which is nice because it pushes it away, makes it
a little bit, especially for the middle grade age
kids,
group. Right?
Yeah, we don't want to make it too personal. So
it's realistic, but it doesn't. Yeah, it's not too personal.
Yeah, exactly. And on the opposite side, opposite day, Miss Frogbottom's Field Trips, Fangs for Having Us. This is a new series we've been having, and less pictures than a lot of the other ones, but a lot of that white space still, which is really nice for the kids. It's all about a teacher who has a magical map, and when she taps the map or whatever, she looks at the map, you go to a new spot. Oh. And so in this one, they're going to a creepy castle on a class trip with coffins and bats and... So
it sounds kind of like updated Magic School Bus.
Yeah, kind of like that, exactly. Frizzle. Yeah. I think it could be really fun. So, and the cover is just great. The illustrations are really fun. So, a new Babysitters Club graphic novel, The Babysitter's Little Sister. So there's that spin-off, and these are so popular. I always buy multiple copies of them because the kids love them. Can't keep them on the shelf. So a new one is in today. So it should be ready very soon. And now, onto my picture books, which was hard to pick because there's so many cute ones.
There are a lot of good ones this week.
This one is adorable. Bilal cooks dal. And half the reason I bought this is because there is a dal recipe in the back. Dal is one of my favorite foods. It's I guess there's different colors of lentils and things that you can make. And this is basically a really cute story about how a little boy is afraid that his friends won't like a new dish. They haven't had dal before. And so they help the father prepare the meal, but it takes like all day because dal really does take like all day. Those lentils do not soften quickly. And, just about like introducing your family's history and heritage and food to your friends and how he's scared to do it, but he really wants to do it.
That's how I became an adventurous eater because I had friends who were from all different cultures. Namely like some of my closest friends were Korean, Indian, Chinese, and so I always was like, I'll try whatever you're eating.
Yeah, that's great. That's really good. But you can imagine, like from the child's point of view, that they might be scared because they don't want their friend to think they're weird or something like that. So I think this is going to be a really cute one, and I love it. It has the recipe I was hoping it would in the back. So I'll be taking that one home. Okay, this one, I usually don't like these like song. I try not to get all these song ones, books that are based on a song, but this was so cute. It's sitting on the dock of the bay. And the way it's illustrated with this cat just wasting time on
I like it a lot.
Tide roll away. I just love these illustrations. They're gorgeous. And that cat is just sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time, like having a good time. And it's just so cute. Yeah, sitting in the morning sun. Blah, blah. Yeah, I could sing it all day. But anyway, it's a really cute takeoff on that song. And I think in the end, he's got a friend. Which is really sweet. So I just thought the illustrations were adorable, and I love the idea of a cat sitting on the dock of the bay fishing. This one is really cute. It had great reviews. It's called Shh, the Baby is Sleeping. And it's just a great family story, really cutely illustrated with a new baby. And I love all the textures and the colors and everything.
Styles.
Really
Nice.
cute. Hold it up high enough, but just super cute, and how to deal with having a new baby in the house. I saw somebody tiptoeing so as not to wake the baby, and so just a fun one. Beautiful illustrations, lots of texture, which Dino Grow got fabulous reviews also. All about a little boy who's disappointed with his dinosaur toy until it gets wet and it grows. Like those toys that you drop into the, So this thing just keeps growing and growing until it's so big it needs to leave the house.
You're not supposed to feed it after midnight either.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a Gremlins, Gremlins kind of story. So they have to get the dinosaur out of the house, and the little boy obviously is very sad. And I don't think the dinosaur was happy to leave either. So they figure out a way.
Oh, yes.
There's always
Dino
room.
is very large.
Yeah. So super cute illustrations too. Great reviews on that one. This one, the cover alone got me because I love movies with claymation. And
Yes, me too.
I love them. What is it? All those ones with the sheep and they're all like English. Chicken Run, like all those. I love those.
She loves Chicken Run.
I love Chicken Run. I love anything with claymation. My daughter loves claymation. This book is done in claymation, and it's called Wolf Boy, and it's basically a hangry story. Somebody, hangry. Hungry and angry. I
We get hangry, so we understand.
I totally get it. But it's a wolf who's hangry. He's what a hungry, huffy, growly wolf boy to do, and he's just he's just hangry. And there's some rabbits, but I'm not going to tell you what happens to the rabbits. There's a surprise.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. It's not what you think. But it's just so cute with these illustrations, and I love that he really stands out. Because of his color and everything else is different, like earthy tones. I mean, he's this bright blue wolf boy, and it's all done with claymation, which
very
I think
cool.
is super cool. I love it. And last but not least, the Illustrated Encyclopedia of the Elements. Finally, we have a new book in on the elements, and it's really neat because it tells you what they're used for, like titanium. Where would you find titanium? And just visually very appealing. Children are interested in things like that, sciencey things, and what I like is how it explains, just like I said, where they come from, what you use it for. Just a neat book for children who like science.
Arsenic.
Yikes. Arsenic, and is that Napoleon?
This is funny.
Yeah, so it's just very interesting, and why, it goes through all of the different things, and you say, wow, I did not know that. I don't even know how to say this word. Praseodyminum is in these goggles.
Oh, well, now we know.
Whatever it is, the rain goggle. I can't say it. I took chemistry many years ago. So, radium. Ooh, that's a spooky one with the glow in the dark letters.
It's very trendy.
Very trendy radium, unfortunately, with those books that are coming out. But
yeah.
So just a great intro, and then some scientists at the back, and I love that there's a bunch of female scientists in there.
Woo.
Don't see enough of that. So just fun, interesting women of the periodic table and other things. So it's a great one.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
We had a lot of good things this week.
We did.
And I
We like
already
good
have
things.
a couple of books for next week that arrived, so fingers crossed we get more.
I don't. I need to get more.
More books.
More books for me.
We're always hungry for more books. And
Hangry.
If you're hungry or hangry for books, you can check all of these out at the library. Come visit us.
Come and see us, please.
We'll see you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.